Hello, hello. Greetings, fellow Earth inhabitant. I'm so happy to be here. It is the first time that I'm ever doing something like this on a public platform. But sometimes spirit nudges you to do certain things and to be a voice for the messages that I get on a daily basis. I am Diana Rubio. Spirit Love Star is this channel, and I have a background in sociology and psychology, and I'm also a healer. I used to be an empath, and we'll discuss all of those definitions and all those pretty little disciplines that we all have it, and a lot of times we are given a label like an empath, and what is this spiritual awakening that everyone's talking about, and what is this, woke, hashtag woke, we're going to talk about it because from as far as back as I can remember, I've always been guided by something. And it's something that I've always paid attention to. Many times we are taught to ignore it. We're a baby born into a family or what have you. A lot of people's experiences are different. But we're a baby born into a family and we're just given this set of rules. This is the way life is. This is what you do. You want to be fed? You listen to your mother. You listen to your father. If you're lucky enough to have a mother or father or whatever your experience is, you go about it kind of following the rules. Because you're a helpless baby, you really can't do anything. You can't really have your say on what time is dinner time because then you won't get fed. Same thing happens when we have our emotional guidance system tell us something that doesn't feel right and we cry about it and we're told to stop crying. We're told how to behave, we're told how to act, we are told that we have to get up every morning and go to school. We're told. This is like the beginnings of everything, really. I'm not alone. There are so many channels out there that start to break this down. But the question always is the same. Who are we? What are we doing here? And what is our purpose in life? We are given a body. We can touch it. It's physical. 2 arms, 2 legs, a set of eyes, a nose, a mouth, hair, physical structure. This is your vessel. This is your casting. This is your vehicle that you were given in order to perform in this world, to get through this life and to have this human experience. So, but what's behind that, really? What else? Introspection. Are you okay with just being told what to do, knowing that this is what we're supposed to do in life? Get a job, go to school, get a job, pay the bills, eat, breathe, shit, shower, have a family, maybe not have a family, go on some adventures, travel, have your heart broken, break some hearts, have relationships, don't have a relationship, get married, get a divorce, have some dogs, have some cats, have a little pot-belly pig. Whatever it is that you are flipping through the pages of your life, like, okay, then maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try scuba diving, maybe I'll take up pottery. What are you really doing? Have you asked yourself that? And this is why I'm here. I have been told by my guides, by whatever guides me, the same voice that I've had my entire life, the same thing is to end human suffering. A lot of people get lost because these things become mundane. We're just passed down from generation to generation on what to do, and we don't know what to do because we're just following orders. When I was little, I couldn't reach the upper cupboard above the stove to get fed. I had to rely on my mom, so I just listened to what my parents said because they were the ones that were in charge. They were the adult that was in charge. If not, I wouldn't get fed and I wouldn't get love. Kind of bouncing around a lot, but this is really what it is all about. And then we reach a place in our life where things start to happen that we don't want to happen. We might get our heart broken, get into a relationship, and really getting your heart broken is a huge catalyst to introspect and to be like, what are we actually all really doing here? And that is one of the life experiences that you can have. You can injure your arm. Say you're playing baseball, basketball, whatever sport, and you injure your arm, and it caused such trauma that you were never really the same after. You were told to get over it, but it was something that you felt, not just on a physical level, but on a non-physical level that hurt as if it was physical. You're heartbroken. Can you touch that? No. Do we all have a heart? Yes. What are we told to do? Get over it. Cry and get over it. You know, if you have some friends and maybe a pint of ice cream, get through it that way. But what is it all really teaching us? What is this grant? I mean, if you really, even though I've laid out a lot of information, what I'd like to start with is zooming out. Have a zoomed out perspective of what is orchestrating in your life. Who's the orchestrator? Who's orchestrating it? Why is this happening? Why did certain things take place that completely ripped you to shreds? On a mass scale, when you zoom out, when you do this, when you zoom out, you really can see the bigger picture of what this human opportunity is really all about. Because we come from spirit. We come from a non-physical, intangible spirit essence. That is the voice coming through right now. That is your voice coming through. Because if you know anything about life, there's life and then there's death. Or is it death? Or does it continue forever? What happens to the body when there's death? The spirit leaves. The soul, which is the essence, the light that made who you are, is gone. There's nothing alive in a body that is past. So we can all agree on that. So it's not really a foreign thing, whether you say you're spiritual or not. It's not a foreign thing to know that your spirit leaves when you die or goes somewhere else. Because nothing is pumping blood or your heart circulating anymore once that happens. So once we connect the dots is when we can be like, okay, where do we come from then? What is this? Why is there human suffering on this planet? Why is there a planet? Why are we here? So these are the questions that I'd like to explore. And even though wherever you are in your spiritual journey, wherever you are in your journey, whether you're completely don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to start with consciousness. What is consciousness? What are we doing? You know, I was able to get to the findings of what consciousness is because for, quite some time, I had it really isn't a spiritual awakening. It's a reawakening. Maybe I'll call this video a reawakening because everyone's throwing these terms as if it's a awakening. It's a reawakening. When we were born, we were awake. Let me take that back. Right before we're born, when you're conceived, you are pure consciousness coming through a veil of forgetfulness. So you forget where you come from. You forget who you are. You are light. You are love. You are creation. You are a creator. And you're come down into this earth plane, which is the third dimension. And you completely have a blindfold. You forget where you come from. You don't even know. You're completely helpless. And you're just being taught by other people who are also completely helpless, just like you. And they're going to pass on to you what they learned or what they knew during their time. It could be something that's not even applicable to the year that you're born, but because your parents were born in the 50s, they're going to teach you what they know. So these are all catalysts to become conscious and to start to explore what your purpose is. It's all about remembering. So your journey begins with picking up the pieces on getting to the finish line called I Remember. Your soul embarks on this journey here on earth completely blindfolded, spiritually, unconscious. You just go by the set of rules that you're taught. You go to school, the bell rings. That's another indoctrination right there, the bell ringing. It's teaching you, okay, now get up at this time and just follow the next movement, do the next movement, and do this every day, Monday through Friday, until you are literally a robot and you're programmed. Until enough things happen in your adult life where you don't feel good and you're at a job that you can't stand and you're like, really? People are really doing this to themselves? And what's the point? What is the point? Why are we all doing this? Why am I getting up to go to work to a job that I cannot stand just because I was told to do this? I'm not the only one. You've been there. These are all catalysts for your enlightenment. So when we begin to explore these questions, we know that we're never going to stop asking. At least for me, I never stopped asking. I was always being guided by a version of my spirit that knew better. And a lot of times I would say yes to things that I really meant no. One of those things is, let's go to college. My personal story, I knew that I didn't need college. I did not need 4 years of a program when I already knew what I wanted to do. But in order to get love, and love is the driving force that everybody wants, everybody on this planet is attuned to love. Love is your natural set point when you're born. A baby does not hold on to grudges. A baby does not, babies live in the moment. They don't, say, oh, I remember what happened yesterday. I'm going to not, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that a baby, I'm going to not talk to this person. No, the baby doesn't care. The baby's like, hello, same person. La, 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 la. They live in the moment. So do animals. So do dogs. Live in the moment. And as we get older, we start to get worn down. We get worn down by the things that we don't know why we have to do them. And a lot of times, these are the questions, the little breadcrumbs that we start to place in our lives that can get to the bigger picture, that can get to the answer that we're looking for. The question is, what is our purpose? What are we doing here? Why am I suffering? One of my main motivators in life is to end human suffering. Part of it was because I suffered a lot. I was bullied in school. I had my own, let's just be real. For most of my life, I was depressed. And it was like a little secret that I had. And it was something that I knew I would get out of because I had this higher version of myself guiding me, speaking to me. Now you would know that, they were my angels. They were my spirit guides. And everyone has spirit guides. Everyone has guidance that is non-physical. From the day you're born, you have a set of spirit guides. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 7. We live in an existence where we identify with what's physical. We really don't, we don't get taught in school, something outside of the physical. If you went to Catholic school like me, then you would know about Jesus, and you would know about the teachings of, Jesus' resurrection. And so they would get some idea of like, okay, there's another life. But it's not something that people really talk about a lot. You wake up, you get the paper, you have your coffee, you go to work, you turn on the radio, and unless you have like XM radio or something, and you're on the spirituality channel, they would talk about, did you do your morning meditation today? Did you do... Now, this is the day and age where people are starting to do that, where people are starting to tap into their consciousness and be able to meditate as if it was brushing their teeth. But a lot of times in this day and age, we're coming out of being asleep, aka unconscious, being unconscious. So I'm here to bridge that gap of not knowing where you are, of almost walking in the dark. Because as a person who has been on her spiritual journey for quite some time, I have learned to ask the questions and to kind of go into the depths of what else is there. How come I am suffering? How come people suffer? It's literally something that is not there, and they're crying over something that happened yesterday, over something that happened years ago. And it's literally something that's not happening in the present moment. They're identifying with an illusion that has not even happened in the present day. I've done it. I still do it. So that's what we're going to talk about. This is just an introduction to my channel, Spirit Love Star, and I hope to awaken consciousness with every video that I can post out there. I was a little nervous today because I actually don't know how I'm going to come across, but that's the thing. You're not supposed to know. You're supposed to just dive in the pool and swim. So one of the things that I want to be able to stress is you're not alone if you're suffering. You're not alone if you're depressed. You're not alone if you're going through this thing called spiritual awakening that everyone is kind of elevating to, because we are in an ascension period spiritually where our molecules in our body literally are starting to wake up. The veil is being ripped off of our vision, of our path. That veil of forgetfulness before you came through and just doing monotonous things all day it's getting torn down. And the reason it's getting torn down is because of this thing called ascension. People are ascending. We are ascending from the state of unconsciousness, of things that were buried in your subconscious. Subconscious is the basement of your conscious, where you bury things that traumatized you and that you don't want to talk about, feelings and ways of being, your state of being that you disowned, that didn't gain you love from your family, that you're ashamed about, that you were taught to be shameful for. Your very, very true essence is to be loud and proud. Did you know that? Your personality is to be shown. It's not to be hidden. So maybe this video will be called just an intro for now. Thank you for tuning in, and episode 1 will be coming soon, and I think it's going to be about this ascension process that we're all feeling. You know, if you have social media, you'll see it. We are awakening, and we are literally turning into a new planet. We are literally turning to a new planet. Eckhart Tolle, New Earth. Please read it if you haven't. It's an excellent read on how we are just turning into a new race, a new human race. We are no longer asleep. You know, there's words like organic now. That word organic didn't even exist 20 years ago. From what I remember, there were no organic vegetables, and people were so unconscious about pesticides on their food. Now consciousness has allowed for people to be like, what's on the label? That's a good example of how asleep people were. And we're going to talk more about it. This video is actually a little bit longer than I intended, but I had to kind of just do a rough draft, and I'm posting this video. Thank you for joining, and I hope that you join my second video. Thank you.